Hey everyone, I'm Sean Roberts from Here for Blood, and you're currently listening to the Horror Squad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 326, where tonight we are going to be talking about 2005's Land of the Dead, George Romero's first zombie film in over 20 years, of course, after he did Day of the Dead. I am here, as always, with Steve and Todd. Gentlemen, how are you? How was your week?
Hello, doing well.
Same, exhausted as fuck, but I'm good. I'm good.
Excellent, excellent. All
What
right,
about you?
well, nothing exciting, I guess, happening in the world. Me, I am good. Today is a holiday, actually, in Massachusetts. It's Patriots Day. Also, the marathon. Marathon. We record on Mondays, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, usually. So, Marathon Monday here in Massachusetts, Boston Marathon happened today. The Red Sox play an 11 a.m. game. It's tradition. I believe the real reason for Patriots Day is the Battle of Lexington and Concord, which was a very important war during Revolutionary War, I believe it was. So a little bit of American history there for you, Steve.
Isn't Concord in New Hampshire?
There's Concord, Massachusetts as well.
Oh, okay.
There is a
That's not-
Concord, New Hampshire too, though.
Okay.
But yeah. So they reenact that battle in Concord every year and
Will
stuff
this
like
be on the
that.
test today?
It will be, yes.
Yes.
Write that down for the trivia.
Yes. They're better history experts than me, that is for sure. But I'm trying to remember the stuff I learned back in school. But if you ever come to Boston, Massachusetts, go and check it out. There's a lot of exciting stuff you can see if you're a history buff.
Yeah. How about October 11th to 13th? I think that would be a good time to
That is true.
visit Massachusetts.
Well, yes, October 11th through 13th. If you want to come out to Salem, Massachusetts, and you can also see the history of Salem, Massachusetts as well. We are doing an event with the cast of Hocus Pocus. If you want to come out and hang with us, there's going to be events all weekend long. Tickets should be going on sale relatively soon for that. Everything has pretty much been booked. I can share some details for you guys. October 11th, there's going to be a party at the Hawthorne Hotel, a Halloween gala extravaganza party ball. It's going to be very fun. October 12th will be the autograph signings with the cast. It will be the four from last year: Omri Katz, Vanessa Shaw, Jason Marsden, and Thor Birch, along with two new guests this year, which will be Tobias Jelinek and Larry Bagby, who played, of course, the two bullies, Jay and Ernie,
Ice.
I believe. Ice, yes, Jay and Ice. So yeah, you can meet the six of them. They will be so that Saturday, the 12th, will be the autograph signing. I believe there's gonna be something that night too. Nothing 100% confirmed yet on that. But then on the 13th, there will be a screening of the movie, which I won't announce the venue yet because it hasn't been announced. But we will be screening the movie at a very big venue outside of Salem. But it will be very close to Salem, so you'll be able to just short hop over to the next town to attend that. And there'll also be a very exclusive trolley tour happening on Sunday morning as well. Very limited, very VIP. So we'll try to give you guys first dibs on that. It's going to be limited to, I think, only like 30 or 40 people. So you're definitely going to want to jump in on that. It's going to be a very awesome experience. Something none of us will even be able to experience, honestly. So definitely jump on that if you can. But yeah, please join us, Salem, Massachusetts, October 11th to the 13th. And if you cannot join us for that, come out just 2 months away to Monroeville, Pennsylvania, the home, of course, of George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. We will be hanging out at Living Dead Weekend. It is going to be an awesome time. We don't have any. It's not like like an event we're doing. It's just going to be the official Horror Squad podcast meetup. We're just going to be hanging out, chilling, being hanging with the listeners and stuff like that. So it's going to be a great time. All three of us will be there. and it's going to be awesome. So buy your tickets, 1 p.m. mall tour on Saturday, and get your weekend passes for Living Dead weekend. It is Creepier. They're celebrating Night of the Creeps and Creep Show, so there's going to be a lot of guests from both of those properties. So yeah, going to be a great time. Can't wait for all of it coming up. It's going to be great. So join us for that. All right. Other than that, let's get into it. Steve, I guess we're going to spill a little tea, perhaps?
Yes, we will. Let's spill that tea.
Oh, you want the tea? I'm sorry. We don't serve tea. Nope. Instead, you get a cup of Joe. And now here's Joe with the news.
All righty. Thank you so much, Chuck. And here we go. Your cup of Joe for this week. Let's start off with some big horror news that just sort of crossed the threshold this past week, and that is the announcement. And I got to start with this because I am one of the biggest Blair Witch Project fans there is. Blumhouse has acquired the rights to the Blair Witch Project, and they are teaming up, of course, with Lionsgate, the original distributor, to make a brand new Blair Witch Project movies. Of course, this year is the 25-year anniversary of the Blair Witch Project. There has been a lot of reunions and whatnot at cons and stuff like that with the original cast and stuff like that. So, yeah. So as far as details, not much has come out. This, of course, was announced at CinemaCon, which you will hear that a lot in my horror news this week because a lot of stuff came out at CinemaCon last week. But yeah, as far as what we know, not much. Just that it's going to be, I think they're calling it a reboot. I don't think any of the sort of original actors are going to be involved with this. And actually, I can bring this up too. The original actors have actually come out and they're kind of upset with this new movie because their likeness apparently was used at CinemaCon, attached to this trailer without their permission. And Joshua Leonard and Heather Donahue, who has actually changed her name to Ray Lance, mainly in part because of this movie, they've both come out sort of against this new project, mainly because their likeness and their names are being used without their consent. And it's kind of a slippery slope. They did sign contracts all those years ago, but they still feel, they were unfairly treated and whatnot. I will once we can get more into it, I can read the sort of statements from Joshua Leonard and stuff like that. But first, let's get into the remake here, or this reboot. Thoughts? I mean, I'm personally excited about it. I've enjoyed all iterations of the Blair Witch Project and stuff like that. And although the actors are coming out against it, it's not, for me personally, hindering my enjoyment of this, because the way I look at it is this happens all the time, especially in indie filmmaking. Actors are paid shit all the time. Is it right? Maybe not, but a lot of you kind of have to pay your dues to kind of break in, right? Like these actors, if this movie came and went, they wouldn't be saying anything, right? But this movie blew up big time. And they did renegotiate a contract and get paid, and they signed a contract. So the way I look at it is it's done. You know what I mean? I mean, you signed the contract, you moved on, and the studio can use your name and likeness from that movie if they want to. It was their choice to use their actual names from that movie and whatnot. So I don't know. I just think it's a bit bitter of them to come out all these years later and sort of complain about it. That's my personal take on it. I mentioned off air, we were discussing this a little off air, but I mean, David Howard Thornton, he's not complaining, and he made I think under $2,000 for the original Terrifier movie, and obviously he's kind of done his own thing and made more now. But I'm interested to hear your take on all of this. I'm sure we might have some differing opinions here.
Steve?
For the movie itself, I'm indifferent. It depends what the trailer is like. Depends what the story is. I'm not particularly psyched about it, but not disappointed about it either. Just one of those come as it comes. The other one, unless I read the contract, I don't know what exactly they agreed to or didn't agree to. But let's say they did sign off on their likeness in perpetuity for, like they right now for the whole universe and forever and all that shit that they do now. Then, yeah, that's just the way it is. I saw one of the comments said something along the lines, I signed it when I was 23. If you're a fucking adult, it doesn't matter what age you were. If you sign a contract, you have to abide by it. That's just the way it is. And it's not like they're not profiting from that franchise at all. You know, they're making some money off it. They're obviously doing cons and, you know, doing all this stuff. So, you know, yeah, it sucks, but they signed the contract. That's just the way business works. You know, it's so we'll see what happens with the actual movie.
Yeah, movie itself. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I like Blair Witch 2016, I believe. That was pretty cool. The original is awesome, obviously. I don't like Book of Shadows, but I know Joe does, so that's cool. But yeah, I'm with Steve and you guys, dude. Like, without knowing the ins and outs of the contract, sorry, it is what it is, man. Like, this happens all the time, not just in indie films, but we got people come back from the dead now to make films because they own that character, and then is it a little bit iffy? Sure. Could the studio give them a good faith little bump? Absolutely. Do they have to? Not if it's not in the contract. So yeah, tough shit, man. And doing this crybaby bullshit about being 23, and I didn't have a lawyer next to me. That's your own fucking problem. Like, if we made a indie film right now and we cast some dude and I'm like, here, I'm gonna get you pizza, I can't get you anything else, and it gets bought by someone and make $1,000 on it, you don't have any room to stand on, you know what I mean? That's how it is. But as far as going back to the plot of the new movie, I don't want to see any of the characters return, but I do want to see a little bit of aftermath. I love aftermath, especially from 25 years later. I want to see some oh shit, this is fucking Josh's backpack. It's all blood, something like that. I just want to see little tidbits of that. I'll be happy if they throw that in there.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you for that. I want to see, I mean, I've been saying it for years. I want to see an origin story of the Blair Witch, the original Blair Witch, Ellie Kedward. I'd love to see a period piece with that. I think that'd be a really cool way to go. I don't think the studio will go that way, but we kind of got it with The Witch. It was kind of like a sort of a take on that, but we shall see. I should also mention that this pact they made with Lionsgate, they are calling this a multi-picture pact reimagining horror classics from the Lionsgate library. So apparently we will be getting other horror properties out of this as well. What? Lionsgate has a very extensive library with horror, so I guess we'll see. But this Blair Witch will be the first of apparently many horror reimaginings coming out. So no surprise there. Blumhouse and their remakes, they love that shit and their reimagined reboots. So we'll be getting more, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of reboots, the trailer dropped for Speak No Evil, which of course was a remake, which is a remake of a movie, a Danish movie, I believe it was, that just came out just 2 years ago. And basically this is getting made because people are lazy and they don't want to read subtitles. That's my take on it. This does star James McAvoy though, so they did get, a big actor to be a part of this movie. I gotta say, the trailer dropped, and if you have not seen the original movie, do not watch this trailer because it spoils some very big moments in the movie. Moments that I think it's unforgivable to spoil. It's really going to take you out of the big twist in the movie.
But are they only obvious if you've seen the original though?
I don't think so. No, not really. No. Obviously you haven't seen the trailer yet, Todd, but it spoils some pretty big plot points, including one of the major twists. So I'm still interested to see it. It does seem like they, for the most part, are following the same exact beats of that original movie. I hope they don't change the ending. I really hope they have the balls to go with the ending in this, maybe changing it a little bit. Obviously you never want shot for shot remake, but I hope they follow a same path as that original movie. As far as the trailer goes, I mean, other than the spoilers, I think it looks pretty solid, but once again, I just think it's an unnecessary remake, especially 2 years later, just to make an American remake out of it just seems kind of lazy, but we'll see. I'll definitely watch it. Steve, I think you watched the trailer, right? What'd you think?
Yeah, basically the same thing as you. Yeah, it shows way too much in my opinion, and it's weird because I had almost fucking PTSD from watching the film the first time when I watched the trailer because this trailer is so close to the original film, and that movie it's fucked up. That's to put it bluntly, it's a fucked up movie, and I don't want really to see a remake but there's like curiosity factor here. So I will watch it just because I'm curious to see what they do with it. Like, do they change anything and all that stuff? But yeah, it really didn't need a remake. Just watch the original. It's a great film, but very, very difficult to watch.
Definitely. And I think it's on Shudder, right? Currently still, I
Yeah,
think.
probably. Yeah.
So you can check it out there. Or if you want to wait for the American remake, it's hitting theaters September 13th of this year. So you can check it out. All right, next bit of news is a little update on The Strangers. I think we've all seen the trailer for now. I've seen it a few times in theaters, actually. They really seem to be pimping this one pretty hard. Well, we're not getting just one Strangers movie this year, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to get 2 Strangers movies this year. Of course, it was announced that this new Strangers is going to be a 3-part series, with chapter 1 arriving just next month, actually, May 17th of 2024. Well, it was announced at CinemaCon that Strangers chapter 2 will be arriving this fall. They have not given us an official release date yet, so expect most likely sometime in September or October. No announcement for chapter 3 yet. I'm assuming we're going to be getting that early 2025. So there you have it with that. Any thoughts, gentlemen, before I move on with that?
2 of them in the theater at the same year. It's kind of iffy.
Why not just release all 3 in the same year?
I mean, it worked for X and Pearl, so
Right?
it's possible.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll keep you up to date on that. More news out of CinemaCon. The Scary Movie franchise is returning, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Scary Movie, a very popular spoof series, spoofing popular horror movies. It is going to be getting the reboot treatment from Paramount Pictures, and it will be hitting theaters in 2025. So I ask you, gentlemen, what horror movies do you want to see spoofed in this new Scary Movie reboot?
Well, they always pick a main theme, right? So what main
Usually.
theme are they gonna do, you think? I mean, we had
I
Scream,
think-
obviously. We
I
had
think A24. I think it's going to be
You think
elevated
so?
horror. I have a feeling it's going to be Hereditary and Midsommar and all that stuff. I think it's going to
Okay.
be a joke on elevated horror versus like idiots because it's a scary
I
movie.
like it. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great idea. Sam, I asked Sam and she said she thinks a lot of Jordan
course.
Peele stuff. So I'm like, that would make sense
Yeah,
too, I
it would.
guess. Yeah, I was like trying to think like what, because it's been over 10 years probably since the last Scary Movie came out, maybe 20 years. I don't even remember, honestly. I kind of jumped ship after a while. They started getting really bad. So I mean, obviously like Scream was a big part of those original ones, and then they started doing like The Ring and stuff. So I was trying to think like what's the last really big horror property to come out like within the last like 10 or 15 years. I guess like the Conjuring franchise, they could
And
go after
It.
that. Annabelle, like
Mm.
yeah, stuff like that. So maybe even Megan we could see in here. But yeah, I mean A24 would be great too. I think someone in our Discord posted, I think it was just a fan made poster though, with Midsummer being a central theme. So maybe that would be cool too.
So Scary Movie 5 came out in 2013 and starred Tyson. Mike Tyson. So-
Michael Tyson, yes.
Michael Tyson. Not
Michael Tyson.
Charlie Sheen, Mike Tyson, Snoop Dogg. So yeah, the movie sucks.
Yeah, I remember I think the last one I saw, they did Signs, was like a big part of that one. It had
Mhm.
Leslie Nielsen in it. And like the aliens peed out of their fingers or something like that.
Was that the
so.
one where Shaq was like in the saw trap and he had to
Ma-
make a free throw? I don't know.
Maybe
blend
they all,
together.
yeah, they all blend together. I think the first like 2 are just
First
the
two are
best.
dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause the first one was Screaming, and then I think the second one they focused on was The Haunting, I believe it was,
And The
with
Exorcist.
and The Exorcist. Yeah,
Yeah.
great stuff. Yeah, with James Woods, I believe it was.
It's a cultural
right?
icon,
Mhm.
dude. The
Yeah.
strong hand.
Yeah.
Yes,
Also, yeah.
yeah.
Strong
Oh,
Hand is
yeah.
one of the best
Classic.
moments in horror.
Yeah, great
I
stuff.
could do it myself.
Very nice. All right. Well, that's probably something we will probably end up covering when it does get released. I think that'd be a fun one to do. So we'll see next year, 2025. All right. Next bit of news, an update on 28 years later. So what this was announced at CinemaCon as well. We're going to be getting a whole trilogy out of this 28 years later thing. So I don't know if we're going to get like 28 years later, like in 3 parts, sort of like The Strangers, or if we're going to go like 28 years later,
28 million years later.
million, yeah, 2,800 years later, and then 28 million years
Imagine.
later,
Like, all
or
right, we're
something.
over it.
But 28 like BC later, it can be like a Stone
Ooh,
Age
prequel. I like
Stone
it.
Age horror type out of darkness from earlier this year. So what was announced is, of course, Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are going to be reteaming. It is expected that Danny Boyle is going to direct the first part of this trilogy. Well, Nia DaCosta, who some of you might know from, of course, the Candyman remake, is being reported to be taking over the franchise after that. She will be directing at least the second part of this trilogy. No word on if she will be taking over for the third movie as well. But Cillian Murphy, of course, also expected to be back for that as well. So I wish Danny Boyle would stay on and do all 3. But, we'll see. We'll see how Nia DaCosta does. I personally liked the Candyman remake. I don't know what else she's done since then.
The
But
Marvels.
yeah. Has she done? Okay.
It's the only
Oh.
one thing she did. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. No, I mean, I think obviously I think we're all really excited about this upcoming trilogy. Doesn't need to be a trilogy though. Like, no. Like,
That's
just
my
make-
hang up. That's my
Right.
hang up with it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I just want a nice wrapped up story with Jim part 1 and Jim in the third one, man. Especially Academy Award winning Jim now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think just make one more movie, and just wrap it up. Like, I don't like this whole theme of trilogies lately. Like, it didn't obviously work for The Exorcist. We only got one of those. Didn't work for Halloween. Just make one fucking good movie. But Hollywood's gonna fucking milk that cow for all it can. So we'll see. Maybe we're wrong. We'll be wrong on this one. All right. Just a couple more stories to get through. Quick one here. Terrifier 3 has officially wrapped filming. It now heads into post-production. The movie will be getting released October of this year. It is going to be hitting theaters for a limited time as well, so you will be able to check it out in theaters on a limited release, kind of like they did with Terrifier 2. Probably be out for a week or 2. Depending on how well it does. I think it'll probably do really well, and it might extend its run in theaters. So there you have it. Also, they announced Daniel Roebuck also to the cast. He will be playing Santa Claus. I can't imagine he'll be surviving too long because we see Art in the Santa outfit. So I think he obviously gets that outfit from Daniel Roebuck at some point. But of course, Terrifier 3 will be a Christmas movie releasing this October. Alien Romulus update, ladies and gentlemen. The new footage was shown at CinemaCon, and apparently people lost their shit. From what we are hearing, I won't go into spoilers. There are a lot of spoilers in this news article, but all I will say to you guys is that the movie is, from what we are hearing, almost 100% practical effects, which is very good news to all of us. From what I've heard, they're using face hugger puppets and everything, so there's hardly any.
So they filmed it in space. There's no CGI
Yeah.
space at all.
No, exactly.
Wow,
Yeah,
holy
no.
crap!
SpaceX, man, they got Elon Musk to lend them some rockets. They launched up there and they filmed it all up there. Yeah, but no, as far as the effect wise, obviously you might see some effects with that, the space, but as far as the kills and the aliens and stuff, apparently that is going to be all practical effects. So that is very exciting for you, exciting for all of us, I should say. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. There was a lot. If you want to read the article, it's over on Bloody Disgusting if you want to get some spoilers, but I will not be the one to let you guys down on that. And I'll say one more bit of news tonight, and that is a little bit of bad news for some of you. Those of us who were expecting Saw 11 this year, it has been pushed an entire year to next October. So Saw 11 no longer coming out this year. It has shifted all the way to October of 2025, as well as The Crow also getting pushed to August of this year. So Whether is good news or bad news for The Crow, I don't really know. I'm saying good news, right? Because they're pushing it into late summer, so maybe they're expecting better things from it. As far as Saw, I'm not too sad about it. I think, don't rush it. Take your time and make a good movie. So I'm all for it if it's for creative purposes. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for horror news this week. All right, gentlemen. So let's jump into what you been watching.
All right, I'll go first. So my first film this week is a movie from 2024 that actually just released last week. We got a screener for it. That's how I saw it. But you are able to see it currently only in theaters. But I'm assuming it's going to go on VOD pretty soon, and that is 2024's In Flames. So In Flames is a movie from Pakistan, but made by Canadians, I believe. And it's basically the story of a woman and her mother. They just lost the kind of family patriarch, and they're trying to deal with the repercussions of having now an all-female household in Pakistan, where they kind of treat women as lesser beings than men, and not having a man in the situation complicates their lives significantly. And as these women are going through that, the main woman, played by Ramisha Nawal, starts seeing ghosts and demons and things like that as she's trying to navigate her way through this life in Pakistan. So this movie is the first movie I've ever seen from Pakistan, which was interesting, and it's actually set there. And I love watching movies from different cultures because it just gives me a greater understanding of the world, and I really enjoyed that. It's a setting I've never seen before, and that's always going to be interesting to me. Just they go a lot around the city and on the outskirts of the city and stuff like that, and that was really cool to see. So I like that. It was really interesting to learn about how their society functions, especially their views towards relationships and the difference between men and women, stuff like that. Now, of course, I, being a Westerner, feel strongly that women should absolutely be equal to men, but that is not the way that they are over there, and that they show that in a really interesting and unique way. And then you also have the kind of spiritual and supernatural side of this, which was good. There are some pretty scary demon/ghosts in the film, and I really enjoyed that. The performances are fantastic. The main star, Ramisha Nawal, this is actually her first film, and it's probably my favorite performance of this year, with a close second being the woman from Stop Motion. A really great performance. Her mother, also a great performance in this. My only issue with this is that I feel like having the kind of patriarchy issue and the supernatural issue, there's a lack of focus for both because they're trying to split the two, and that's unfortunately, I think, a hindrance to the film. So I kind of wish they delved deeper into both elements in a way, because they spent a lot of time just kind of exploring her feelings and slow shots. It's like a slow moving film. And and overall, for us horror fans, I should mention that I felt it was more of a drama with horror elements than an actual horror film. So you should know that going into it. But I still think it's a great movie. Really enjoyed watching it. It's not in English, obviously, because it is in Pakistan. So you should know that as well. So that's, I give it 3.5 stars out of 5. Really, really solid film, and one I would recommend. So that's In Flames 2024, which you can currently see in theaters and hopefully soon on VOD.
All right, I'll go. All right, first up is a book written by Mr. Paul Tremblay, who did Cabinets in the World. This one's called The Pallbearers Club. Essentially, is a teenage boy. He's kind of an outcast. He's got a lot of acne. He's got a little slouch, things like that. So at high school, he starts the Pallbearers Club, which is basically they go to a funeral home and they volunteer to be pallbearers and witnesses for the service of people that don't have any family left. So homeless people, older people, things like that, which is a freaking really, really cool, plan or whatever fucking idea, things like that. He meets this girl and they become friends, and she's kind of like gothic kind of thing. So they hit it off. The problem is, like, for the title of the book and the setup, the Paul Bears Club happens for like 50 pages or so, and then the rest of it is their drama of like, is she supernatural? Is he supernatural? Are there vampires involved? Are they just fucking stupid youths that like don't know how to talk to each other? Which is a bummer, dude, because like they set it up as like stealing life force from dead bodies, but then that's never discussed again. And I don't know, it's pretty lame. So Paul Tremblay is he's 2 out of 4 for me. I really like Cabin at the End of the World and A Head Full of Ghosts. Didn't like this one or Survivor Song. I give Paul Bear's Club a 2 out of 5 because it's extremely misleading. The title sets up something that is not what the story actually is. So Paul Bear's Club, Paul Tremblay.
Sorry, Paul. Maybe next
Sorry, Paul.
time. So I'll
Yeah,
enjoy your
maybe.
book. All right. My first one tonight is a TV series catch up. Chucky had its premiere, mid-season premiere, which I, really hate that TV shows do this shit now where they take like time off in between like seasons now. It's so dumb. Let's stop that trend as well. But anyway, Chucky restarted up, and I gotta say, probably one of the weakest episodes of the entire series. Not the way you want to start off a mid-season premiere. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Chucky is now. I won't go. I'm not going to go like spoilery, but you've seen images and stuff. Chucky is now aging in the doll, so you have like old man Chucky. Kind of looks like Gollum, sort of, right now, which I think is like a really cool idea. But man, some of the writing is just so atrocious, and I guess I gotta attribute it to Don Mancini. The guy created the series, and he is definitely still writing for this TV show, I believe. And I don't know, man. Like he's really just completely gone off the rails at this point. There was like a scene where Chucky was watching TV, and he was doing commentary on like Megan and Jigsaw and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know. Like I really liked Scary Chucky, and I just am not really into this whole like caricature Chucky that they're doing now. It's definitely more leaning towards like Seed of Chucky territory once again, which I was just never a fan of. Like I felt like they were really heading in the right direction with Cult and Curse, sort of bringing it back to like horror original elements and stuff like that. But he's just completely gone back off the rails and headed into comedy territory. So if you're into that sort of comedy stuff with Chucky and stuff, you'll probably enjoy this. But this episode made me want to jump ship. But I'm not going to. I'm gonna continue on because I think like the first part of this season was pretty good and had some good stuff in here, but there's some stuff that's all like been terrible from the get-go, but I'm able to excuse it because there's good stuff in there too. But this episode really had nothing good, and I feel like it's really heading into the wrong direction. So yeah, I'm interested to hear what other people say about this. I know Todd and Steve both aren't watching it, I don't think. But yeah, join our Discord if you haven't already yet. We can discuss Chucky if you'd like, or send me a DM. We can chat. We can chat through there as well. Joe Sells a Horror Squad podcast. I control the social media for us too. So yeah, that's it for Chucky.
Awesome. So for my second one, if you don't know, we all have a Letterboxd, which we all use like pretty religiously for all the stuff that we watch, especially horror. And one thing I love about Letterboxd, I'm a pro member. It's like super cheap. It's like an annual fee. It gives you all these stats about movies you watch. And one of the stats that they give you is completion of a series. So if you watch 75% or more of a series, it pops up on a list and tells you, okay, you have like one title missing, 2 titles missing, whatever the case may be. So you're able to track them and then finish your series. Well, every once in a while, for whatever fucking reason, these series, despite not having a new movie in them, pop up on my series not watched scene with a random movie being added to those series. I don't know how they get on there, but whatever the case may be, it led me to this fucking movie because it took away my Evil Bong completion, and I couldn't have that because I didn't want it on that list. So I watched 2019's Ouija's Halloween Night over on Tubi. So, of course, because it's part of the Evil Bong zeitgeist, I guess, in some way, It is a Charles Band production, part of Full Moon. This story is about this group of people. They have this very rare weed, like bulb or like bud, that they want to like entice people to do a scavenger hunt at a party so they can have this killer Halloween party and have a scavenger hunt at the same time. And the winner gets this bud of weed that's apparently very rare. So they do so at a haunted hotel. But then someone finds like almost like a Jumanji type board that starts bringing in all of these creatures into the party and into the hotel. And it's up to the groups to dispatch of all of the different creatures that spat out of this board and bring them back before it's too late and it opens the portal to whatever these creatures are. So that's the gist of the story. If you like Full Moon, it's an interesting film because like the people at the Halloween party are all dressed as Full Moon characters. It's like you see Ginger Dead Man, and you see like a picture of Radu from Subspecies, and pretty much all of their famous properties are represented in some way at this party. It's also very typical of more recent Full Moon, where it's super ridiculous and it tries to skew towards comedy, but it's not fucking funny like at all. Like you barely laugh at any point of this film. But I will say that the creatures themselves were pretty cool. When they were on screen, I was having fun, but overall, not a great film. Not the worst that I've seen either from like New Age Full Moon. So I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I would not recommend it unless you're a completionist like I did, but who the fuck has all of the evil bongs on their completion list other than me? Not a whole lot of people, I bet. So if it is, well, you're gonna have to watch this like I did, and if not, probably skip this one. So that's Ouija's Halloween Night over on Tubi.
She was. That's all I had, Jeff. You want to go?
Yeah, that's all I got horror-wise too, but I will briefly talk about Civil War. I went and saw Civil War this weekend for you A24 fans. And yeah, I thought it was very, very good. I would definitely
Alex Garland, right?
Alex Garland, yep.
Nice.
Yes. It was not what I was expecting at all. I will say that. Like I was expecting like a full-on war movie, but this really, like true A24 fashion, focuses on the characters, which honestly wasn't a bad thing. I really enjoyed it. It's really, the movie is mainly about war journalism at its core, which I thought was really interesting. It follows journalists covering this civil war and them sort of going into the front lines. And if that's really what war journalism is, holy fuck, those people get some massive, massive balls. Yeah, stars Kirsten Dunst, who does a great job. She's really like the lead focus here. Main actor. Wish we got a little more Ron Swanson. I forget the actor's actual name, but he plays the president in this movie. But what's his name? You guys know it, right?
Ron Swanson.
Yeah, Ron Swanson. Okay, yeah.
I have no idea
Nick,
actually. Now.
Nick Offerman.
Nick
There you go.
Offerman.
Yeah, just came to my mind. I was like, I really can't think of his fucking name. I only know him as Ron Swanson. Wish we got a little more of him. And the president. I wish we got a little more on why this Civil War sort of started and stuff like that as well. But honestly, these are small nitpicks. There's great action. There's fucking pretty brutal violence as well in here. Garland definitely doesn't hold back on showing sort of the brutalness of war. I mean, I think, it kind of shows that there is no winner in war. It's fucking bad, no matter what side you look at. There's no winners or losers. Everyone is basically a loser when it comes to war because of the terrible atrocities you see when it comes to them. But yeah, great movie. I would recommend it. I gave it 4 out of 5.
Nice.
And that's all I got too. So Todd,
That's all he's got to say about that.
bust out the books. It's time
Oof.
for trivia.
All right. Trivia is as follows. Quarter number 2, myself in the lead with 5. Steve and Joe both tied at 2 apiece. Any man's game for quarter number 2. Who would like to lead off?
I'll go.
I guess that.
Oh, they're fighting for it.
Ooh.
I liked it. I like it. Very
You
quick on the
can-
draw.
You can have it, but I was just on Letterboxd and I found a movie for Steve. I just sent it because someone, I think one of our listeners,
Oh, it's
just
on
gave
my
it-
list already.
gave it 5 stars.
Which one is it?
Replicator. I just sent it in the chat. A
Replicator.
screenshot of it.
Is it
It
new?
looks
Yeah.
no,
well,
nin-
it tagged-
1998.
I think it's new on Tubi because it tagged me like all week. I'm like, you should watch this type thing.
That's fine.
The The poster's awesome. Army experimentation with transporter devices accidentally turns people into alligators. So
I like it.
Replicator, I think we'll be getting review from Steve sometime within the next
Steve's
Yeah,
like
week or
for
two
sure.
on
Steve's
this
like
one.
drooling right now at the opportunity.
Oh, no,
Look at him. Look how happy he
it's-
looks
It's
right
on
now.
my radar. Don't worry about it.
He's like blushing a little bit,
Yeah.
shit-eating grin. All right.
All right. So, first one is guess the movie based off the IMDb parental guide. I will give you guys a theme this week. I'm not going to hide it. All zombies. So, all zombie theme.
Interesting.
Very nice.
Interesting.
Giving Todd a little. break
I may
here.
have a similar theme this week.
Excellent.
all
Let's
right.
go.
So, sex and nudity.
Yes, please.
Nothing too exciting. Some sexual references, very mild.
Oh.
It happens.
Yep, it does. Violence and gore. A deceased man chases a frightened woman up a hill.
As one does.
Yeah, profanity. Multiple uses of shit, stinking shit.
Ooh,
One usage of son of a bitch. A little girl says numb shit. Fuck off.
dumb shit.
And one use of arse.
So we're an English film. Or maybe Australian. I don't know if they say arse in Australia.
Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. A woman takes a tranquilizer offered to her by her husband.
Hmm.
And finally, probably the giveaway. Frightening and intense scenes. A girl's deformed sister always looks and acts very frightening and might frighten most viewers.
Deformed sister, eh?
Stink shit, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel if you don't know that, you're not gonna get it. I have no idea. Deformed
So,
sister.
Zombie themed. Deformed
Yeah.
sister.
Yeah.
Arse. Deceased man chases a frightened woman up a hill.
Uh-huh.
Very little sexuality.
Night of the Living Dead.
Wrong.
Lick my arse. That was my guess.
You guys give
Shaun
up?
of the Dead.
Wrong. You guys give up?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was being vague with these because it is a very popular film, and it is Pet Cemetery.
Oh, I was too locked into human
Yes.
zombies.
Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda crossed my mind too. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not zombies.
There
But
are
it is.
there are human zombies. It's Gage is a human zombie.
Well, I meant like
Yeah.
traditional, like
Traditional
fleshy-
zombies.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Yeah, you don't really think of them as zombies. in
You're a
Pet
little
Sematary.
trickster today. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to make it too easy.
All right. The cat's name is Church.
Yeah, right.
All right, I'll
Right.
go next.
All right, ready?
All right. This one for the gamers out there.
Oh. Okay.
What breed of zombie dog plays a big role in the Resident Evil series? Correct.
Doberman's correct. Damn it. Beat me to it. Steve on the board. All right. Mine are not zombie related. In Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, what VHS does Paul Rudd suggest that they watch for family night?
Ooh,
Oh, God.
man.
Remember, he's a horror guy from part one.
yeah.
I think they're watching Chucky and stuff.
Is it Poltergeist?
Incorrect.
Hmm. I do remember this.
Yeah, I do too, but I
but
Built
I
up
don't
the tape.
remember.
Yeah.
Yes. Evil Dead.
Incorrect. The correct answer is Cannibal Girls. One I have
Ah.
not seen. Nor do I know if it's real or not, but
All right.
I'll have to search it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Just a regular question.
Okay.
What is the name of the zombie movie starring Adam West? I think I've asked this before, but
I don't know if
Adam
I've ever
West is
seen
in a zombie movie?
a zombie movie with Adam West in it.
Starring Lucky-
Cemetery. House by the Cemetery.
wrong.
That's a folksy movie.
It is. I know.
Zombie strippers.
Wrong.
Starring Jenna Jameson, I think. No.
Zombie
so-
Batman.
Wrong, yeah. You guys give up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Zombie Nightmare.
Zombie Nightmare. Can't
Definitely
say I've
never
seen
seen it. Yeah.
It's like
I can't say I've seen it.
87, I think. Or something.
it.
around
Have,
there.
you, have you seen it, Steve?
Yeah, but a long time. Not that long ago, actually.
Zombie Nightmare. That's got to be on
Is
Tubi.
it good?
It
see if it-
was like
Let's see if it's on Tubi, people. Let's look. You've heard it here. Zombie Nightmare
Look her up.
is on Tubi, starring Adam West and
Course.
Tia Carrere.
Yeah,
something
Tia
like that.
Carrere.
Oh,
Yeah.
from Wayne's World?
yeah.
Wow,
All right,
nice.
add it to my list. Now I have
All right.
190 fucking movies on there.
Yeah, right.
Alrighty. Guess the
Oops.
movie based on the IMDb information.
All right.
This movie was released in the year 2019.
Hmm.
It has an R rating. Genres: dark comedy, satire, fantasy, sci-fi, and zombie horror.
I want to
Currently
guess.
sitting at a
have a guess, Steve?
5.5.
I do, but I want to say it until.
Currently sitting at a 5.5 out of 10 over on IMDb.
Ooh,
Cast.
that eliminated mine.
Cast: Steve Buscemi,
Oh,
Danny
that's
Danny Glover,
Danny Glover, Steve Buscemi, 2019.
Jesus.
Rosie Perez,
Jesus in it?
and
Oh.
Carol Kane. Tagline is
dead men
Nope.
don't die.
You're very
That-
close,
the
but
The
it's
dead
not
don't
the
die.
Dead
The
don't
dead
die.
don't
dead
die.
don't die. Correct.
All right. Which character or actor, I'll take the character name or the actor name, broke his wrist while fucking around on one of the dirt bikes between takes on The Lost Boys?
Hmm.
Is it?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Correct. Kiefer Sutherland.
I was like, it seemed too obvious.
I was gonna
but,
go out. Yeah, I was gonna go Alex Winter. I thought Kiefer was too obvious.
No, he said he saw a hot chick and he decided to do a wheelie and fucking broke his
Nice.
wrist. So the entire film, he's wearing gloves because of that.
Cool.
All right,
Yeah, a little fun fact.
4 clues.
Okay.
Ramen,
Mm-hmm.
gaming.
Hashtag
alive.
alive.
Joe started it first, so I'll give it to him.
That's bullshit. You know it
Thank
is.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Back to me.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. 3 letterboxed reviews. Guess the movie. For the first half, was genuinely wondering why this film had been so praised.
Okay.
A truly grueling 30 minutes, followed by an okay 30 minutes.
One Cut of the Dead.
followed. Correct.
Did I say it right?
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
You didn't do the
I didn't do the Japanese title.
Japanese
Yeah.
version. Yeah. So sorry.
He
Yeah.
didn't say one man cut of the dead. So
Yeah.
he's right now.
All right. Shopping mall.
Oh,
What-
great.
okay. What is the name of the sporting goods store that every single character says at the same time
Hmm.
when they say we gotta go to the sporting goods store? Oh
Yeah.
no, nothing.
No.
Peck and
Dicks.
Paw.
No,
Dicks.
Peckinpah.
Peck and Paw.
Yeah, would
Yeah,
definitely would have
nothing.
never got it.
No, me neither.
All right. Well, with some collusion, Steve and Joe are both at 2 apiece, with myself at 1, which brings us to quarter number 2. Myself and Lee with 6, and Steve and Joe both still tied at 4 apiece.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Todd.
Sure.
And now let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Our main event of the evening, 2005's Land of the Dead, directed by Mr. George A. Romero, starring John Leguizamo, Asia Argento, Simon Baker, and Dennis Hopper. And cannot forget, of course, con favorite Eugene Clark. He's at every single HorrorCon you've probably ever attended. He is there. And I should also mention Sean Roberts, who we recently just had on the show, also stars in this one as well. Plot: the living dead have taken over the world, and the last humans live in a walled city to protect themselves as they come to grips with the situation. Todd, you love George Romero. You love zombies.
It's true.
So let's
Sure.
hear
Got
a
me.
little more about Land of the Dead.
Sure. All right. Land of the Dead. So we start off with a group of scavengers riding fucking dirt bikes and in cars with cut off hoods and shit like that. And they're riding around this dilapidated town. Right before that, though, we see a cool little panning shot, right? A bunch of zombies hanging around. We got a band hanging out, trying to play instruments. We got boyfriend, girlfriend zombie. We see Big Daddy, who's this big, imposing fella, dressed as a mechanic or whatever. He goes out and he tries to pump gas because he's like, I'm a zombie, but I'm trying to do my old life stuff, right? Simon Baker's taking this new guy around who's the leader of the scavenger group from Fiddler's Green, which we'll talk about shortly. And John Leguizamo is kind of a second in command. He's got a friend named Foxy. John Leguizamo's character is Cholo. And he's kind of a dickhead, dude. He doesn't want to play by the rules. He thinks he's big and badass. Doesn't want to listen to Simon Baker's character, Riley. So they're doing this little supply run that kind of goes bad, and they eventually go back to Fiddler's Green. We learn that's like one of the last bastions of humanity, surrounded on 3 sides by a river, I believe, and then like once by like a fucking electrified fence or something like that. Riley's tired of it, dude. He's done. He's like, I'm fucking getting out of here. He's got his homie played by Robert Joy, who's amazing in performance as Charlie. This guy that's been disfigured, burned, and he was rescued by Riley. So now he like hangs on to him and stuff. I think he's a little bit mentally handicapped, and Riley keeps him as like a partner. But he wants to get out of here, man. He goes to the shop. He's like, there's a fucking car I paid for. Where is it? He's like, I don't know. So who's trying to keep Riley in Fiddler's Green? I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Cholo, we learned, is a henchman for Hoffman, played by Dennis Hopper, who's like the president of this little community. Hoffman wants to keep all the rich dudes rich, right? So he doesn't want people like Cholo trying to buy their way into the town. He's like, Cholo, you're just not, fit for this area. So he banishes them, right? Tries to kill him. Cholo gets pissed off, steals the Dead Reckoning. Riley gets enlisted to help. We have Asia Argento, who's like a prostitute that was going to be executed, but now she's part of Riley's crew. And now Riley has to try to get Dead Reckoning back before Cholo destroys the city. So, yeah, man, I remember distinctly, like, this is the height of like message boards for me. Like being on horror message boards and like Land of the Dead's coming out. I'm like, oh, awesome. Saw it twice in the theater, once unrated, which was really cool. With like a little George Romero like mini interview or whatever attached to the beginning of it, and I loved it then. I did have problems with it then. I think the problems I had then are still the same now, but overall I think it's a really cool movie. But you can definitely see where Romero starts to slide a little bit here. But yeah, Land of the Dead, I really like it still.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Todd, as far as like remembering the hype of this movie when it came out in 2005. I remember going opening night to see it in theaters, just the excitement of a Romero movie, Romero zombie movie for the first time since Day of the Dead. It was super exciting. And yeah, the message boards, everybody was going insane and stuff like that. And I remember leaving the theater being disappointed, but I hadn't seen it in a very long time. So I was really interested to see how this was going to play out for me. And I will say I come out a slightly more favorable this time around, but I still have a lot of issues with it. I think it's a fine movie. It's entertaining, but when you're talking about, the Godfather of zombies, George Romero, this is a big step down, I think, from, his original trilogy. And we can get into it, obviously. I have some major problems, and I think it all starts for me with the characters. I think and I'll let Steve talk, and then I can go more into my issues with it.
Yeah, so I also was super hyped when this came out. I was already hyped because we had Dawn of the Dead remake by then, and to have Romero kind of come back and make his zombie film was just so exciting. And I liked it back then, and I've watched it multiple times since then, and I've always enjoyed it. But this time, it just hit a little differently than it did the last few times, and in a positive way, to be honest. I had so much fun watching it this time, maybe because I was paying more attention to some of the details, and there are a lot of nods to other Romero films. There are a lot of nods to Romero's career himself, to Romero Romero regulars, because I've also watched a ton of Romero films lately, because we're doing a retrospective in like just a little over a month, and just to see a lot of the elements kind of play back was really cool. There's like a lot of action and a lot of kills in this, and I really appreciate it for that, because some of his other films are a little bit slower. It's a little bit more methodical, and the pacing's not the same. I really had a good time watching it. Are there issues? Yeah, absolutely there are issues. Some pretty big ones too. But overall, I had a really fun experience rewatching this.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like like a really good popcorn flick. Like I enjoyed watching it. I think there's a lot of fun and action to be had. But yeah, man, I just couldn't. I just like when I'm like talking like night, dawn, and day. Like the characters, like I think were so important, and you really can connect with them. In this one, I think there's very few characters that, for me personally, I like connected with or really cared about. I guess Riley and his buddy there, but I also had issues with Riley. Like I did not like Riley's whole fucking like savior sort of thing. And man, we get into the ending. I fucking hated the ending of this movie. Like it really made me roll my eyes.
They're just looking
Which
for a place to go.
yeah, I
Same as
fucking
us.
hated that, man. That like dropped this movie a whole point for me. I'm not gonna lie. I just did not understand that choice. But yeah, to me, to me, this movie, the issues start with the characters. I just did not connect with them like I did in Romero's, previous entries. I also think it's a problem comparing this to other Romero work. If this was done by not Romero, I probably would have liked it more. But I'm going to be harder on it because it is a Romero movie, if that makes sense.
Well, it makes sense. There's goofy shit in here that I can't understand why it's put in here. Like when we get introduced to the soldiers that got to accompany Riley on the mission, like my name's Bullfighter. My name is fucking whatever stupid ass name is. It's like, do we really need the cheesiness to come into play? Why is John Leguizamo's character named Cholo? Why is his friend named Foxy? Like, just give him some fucking real names. But my biggest thing is I don't really like Big Daddy, man. I like his look. I like how big of an actor he is. Like physically, he's very imposing. But I hate the fucking growling and I hate the moaning and screaming. And I fucking can't stand when he's like trying to save other zombies. Like I get the direction. I know the evolution of Romero's zombies is getting to this point where we had Bub, where he's like the pinnacle of zombie evolution. Now we have Big Daddy. Big Daddy's no Bub, dude. I just couldn't connect with him. And plot armor. My God, he's walking in the fucking full automatic weapons, and he's just like looking around while their zombies are getting wasted. And this motherfucker's just da 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 da. I just don't like Big Daddy.
Yeah, I had issues with him too, and I think it's because like Bub made sense, right? Because the scientist was like working with him to be like a smart zombie. So are we to believe that like Bub eventually he escaped, right? And like he like trained these other zombies to start like becoming smarter? Because like, or are they just evolving on their own to be that smart? And like, why are like I don't know, like it just like would zombies evolve over that amount
I
of
don't
time?
think
Like
so.
I guess they did. They did it in Walking Dead, I believe, too. I didn't watch it, but I had a friend that watches it, and apparently they started evolving too, where they could start climbing fences and shit like that. But I have problems with that. Like, I mean, they're supposed like zombies evolving it doesn't to me make much sense. Like, I don't understand how they would. I mean, I guess we evolved as humans, so zombies are eventually going to evolve too. But they're fucking
They're
supposed to be
dead.
like they're dead and they're brainless. So like, how are they evolving? I don't know. I'll never really dig the evolving zombie. In Day of the Dead, it made sense and I dug that aspect of it, but just like them evolving on their own, I really I just don't dig it as much.
Yeah, I see it as a like I get it because first, yeah, Big Daddy's definitely not Bub. There's no doubt about that. Just in the way he's presenting everything. But I get what Romero was going for, and it didn't bother me this time because it is like core memories essentially being unlocked, right? And maybe it is a just evolution of the zombies. Like they touch a little bit on Day, like he's testing on brains and stuff like that. It's not like they're fully dead in a weird way. It's almost they're like reanimated, in a strange way. It's not like they're completely brain dead. This film kind of points it in that direction. Now it's a little too fast, how quickly they go from basically being mindless zombies to not looking at the fireworks anymore, like picking up a gun, just based off Big Daddy essentially growling at them, and they know exactly what he's saying and what he wants to do. Like I think of that kind of baseball player or softball player zombie that he like grunts about, like pick up the gun and shoot it type thing. So that's a little too fast. I think that's the problem is they try to go. This is what happens in the span of like a couple days at most, and they go from mindless to intelligent in a way so quickly, and I think that's where it's so jarring.
Yeah. What did you? Well, I have a couple questions for you guys because you guys are way more well versed in sort of the Romero zombie lexicon than I am. Is this the first time that we sort of see that even if you aren't bitten by a zombie, like sort of the everyone is infected, whether you're bitten or not? Because correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe he was bitten and I just didn't see it, but when the dude committed suicide in the thing, did he commit suicide because he got bitten or did he commit I took it as he
Yeah.
committed suicide cuz he did. Okay. I
Yeah,
didn't
he
see
got
I
he
didn't
got bit
I
on the
didn't
hand.
Okay, I didn't see a bite. All right. So I thought like we were going into the Walking Dead territory where like everyone's infected and he just had committed suicide and then he came back. So that's not the case
No.
in the Romero world. Okay.
Where would he have gotten bitten though?
I didn't
The-
see a bite, so I
The,
wasn't
the
sure.
guy that killed himself in the beginning.
No, the guy who hangs himself in the other
Hangs himself.
apartment.
Oh, I thought you were
In-
talking about
Yeah.
Cholo's guy.
No,
Yeah.
not
no,
Sean
no.
Roberts.
Yeah, no, this is the one that I was reading up on it. Is yeah, that was intentional, showing that it doesn't matter if you're not bitten, you'll come back now.
Okay, so it is like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's kind of Walking Dead. I know was like a big proponent of this
we're
too,
all
but
infected.
this is the first time that this has been like sort of introduced in the Romero world that even
to
if
my
you're
memory, yeah.
okay, because I don't remember it in Dawn, Day, or Night like
Yeah.
them ever sort of doing that where you had to be bitten, but this is now showing that it doesn't matter if you're bitten or not, you're all infected, so you're coming back, which I thought was interesting. Like
Yeah.
I had never seen that before, so I thought that was interesting that Romero is introducing it, this late into the game. And to me, it didn't bother me, but I think it's interesting that like Walking Dead sort of ended up stealing that.
It didn't go anywhere in
No,
in
it-
land.
it-
It's just like a
Right.
thing
It
that happens.
It doesn't. Right. Does it go anywhere in Diary of Day? Does it ever get like mentioned again?
Yeah, in Diary they become TikTok stars. The zombies.
Oh Lord,
that's the
Oh, my
evolution of it.
goodness. I have to sit through that, huh? All right.
Speaking of Diary, there's a ton of actors from Land of the Dead that are in Diary after this, and I'm like, I know they're credited as different name, but I'm thinking it's connected. I think they're survivors from Land, and they go to
I don't know
Diary.
because Sean Roberts goes over and he dies clearly in this movie. So
He's a survivor, Steve.
Yes.
And
Shot himself in the
Brubaker
head. Yeah.
Brubaker dies as a soldier, and he's a big part of Survival of the Dead and Diary of the Dead.
Right.
And then you have the girl's name is Motown, by the way. She comes through in the locker room. You call me Motown. No one's calling you anything.
And Pillsbury.
Yeah, that's
That's great.
What's he
name.
eating? We're not on like rations. That guy's fucking jacked, dude. And then stupid ass bullfighter guy. Shut the fuck up. But anyway, I'm coming back to this. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Even the kid that's coughing, like the Irish kid. Why is fucking George obsessed with Irish people? Survivor of the Dead is all Irish, right? But anyway, he's coughing, and he's a kid that comes back in Survival of the Dead. So here's the canon now, Steve. That kid in Land of the Dead turns out to be a little piece of shit, and he goes into Survival of the Dead and then makes it to Plum Island. So we'll see. You're here to hear. What about Asia Argento? I mean, she's outside of film, she's a fucking piece of shit, but inside, she's fucking smoking. How do you feel about her character?
Yeah, didn't she like? Yeah, I've heard some stuff about her.
Statutory rape.
Statutory rape of a minor, and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's Dario Argento's daughter. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, she was fine. Like I said, to me, like none of the characters, like I just didn't connect with them like I did in the other Romero movies. I did really like the dude, who's Robert Joy. You said,
Yep.
who I also
Charlie.
recognize. He plays
What the fuck? The Wes Craven remake.
I'm trying to think. Yeah,
Hills of Ice.
Hills of Ice.
Yeah.
It's like he plays like deformed people pretty good. He's like terrifying in that remake as well. But yeah, he's good here. He's probably my favorite character in the movie as far as that. But yeah, H is fine. She's just sort of there to me though. Like it's not someone like I take her or leave her. I didn't care if she died or not really. And honestly, I was kind of rooting for Riley to die by the end of it, if I'm being honest with you.
What did Riley do?
His whole savior thing just pissed me
What do you
off. Like
explain?
it's not
Go more in depth
in
to
an
the savior thing.
And so like, I mean, we'll get into the ending obviously, but the fact he wants to like save these zombies, they're just looking for a place to go. Like, no, they're fucking killing people. Like, and you even see they fucking take out that whole town. They're fucking rabid, like, and they're gonna fucking kill more people. If you have the chance to destroy zombies, you're going to destroy them. But like he does it in other aspects too, like he just like I don't know, like in a civilization like that, I don't think you're like caring too much about like everyone knows the assumed risks when you go out, like and like he gets like so mad at Cholo because that one kid died because he went. But like listen, you're making like that kid went and followed Cholo, like it's not complete, it's partly Cholo's fault that he's dead, but like I don't know. And then like going and fucking like he, you know, breaking down the door to save Asia Argento's character there when like she's doing with the two zombies. Like I don't know. I just feel like in a civilization like that, like you're not gonna care as much. Like it's absolute anarchy, and you're gonna see shit like that all the time. And the fact that he's just like feels like he has to save every like little morsel of like humanity when there's no fucking humanity left. Like I get there might be some people like that, but to me it just came off more annoying than anything. And maybe I was just in a fucking brutal mood at the time of watching
anti-hero mode or something. Gee whiz.
I definitely would be the villain in these
You're
movies.
Cholo in this movie, dude.
For sure, yeah.
I like your passion against it. It's pretty fun. Hot ladies making out. Cool. I like it.
Yeah,
When the zombies
sure,
are
why
going on
not?
a rampage in the Fiddler's Green. I think it's pretty funny though, like their security is so lax that a whole army of fucking zombies can get across. And I know they bypassed it, went underwater and shit
Oh,
like
please. Can we talk about that?
that. Go for
Zombies
it.
underwater, man. I hated it.
Zombie, you saw it in Zombie. He fought a fucking shark in Zombie.
He
Do you
did.
care about this?
He did. Man, listen, and I'm bad. This movie still like I did enjoy it, but man, I just like when I'm like thinking of like Romero, like it just does not feel like a Romero zombie movie, man. He just did so much like rant. I guess he was just trying to be different, right? Like, so I guess in a way I can respect it, but I just did not like the choices made. I don't know, man. Like, can zombies walk underwater? Like,
Even if they did,
You
the,
can
the
walk
current
underwater.
the current would fucking like just sweep you.
yeah, like they wouldn't be able. They're not fast moving. So like once you got down there, like I feel like they just would trudge and like through the sand and shit like that, and eventually they'd get stuck somewhere. Like like you know, there's some shit under that ocean. Like you know, there's going to be sea life and not
I don't
coral,
think they're
but
in the
like
ocean, were they? Weren't they walking across the river?
was it a river? Whatever it was. I
Yeah,
mean, they'd
there's-
get stuck. They'd all get fucking stuck on like pollution that's been thrown in there, or just any sort of plant life that's in there. Yeah, man, I didn't dig it. They all wouldn't have made it under. They also wouldn't have thought like, hey, let's fucking start walking underwater. I didn't like it. I mean, just make them like
You
fucking.
sounded
walk
like me
around.
today, dude.
Man, make them walk around the bridge or something like that. It made for a cool looking scene when they all come out of the water, so I will give him that. But yeah, I did not like the choice. I mean, I just don't like smart zombies. I mean, I think you said it earlier, Todd.
Yeah.
It just I just don't dig it as much. Like I dig it in 28 Days Later because they're technically not zombies; they're infected with a virus. So like them being able to run and shit like that is cool. But running zombies in general, not a fan of. Even though they don't run here, but smart zombies either, not something I dig.
So I don't like how people are still obsessed with money. And Hoffman, you know, has 20 million or something, and fucking Cholo's like, I want fucking 10 million or whatever the fuck it is. Like, for what? Like, what are you gonna use it for? Like, where's Cholo gonna go? Like, he can't go back to Fiddler's Green. And there's like, they talk about Cleveland, but Cleveland's like hasn't contacted it. Like, what are you gonna do with it? You can fucking drive around and wipe your ass? Like, I don't get it. I hate that. Maybe like I can see
Yeah.
like food or women or something like that in this apocalyptic society, but fucking cash, like, come on.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. Like, I don't understand why Cash would be king in this. Like, what does he want? He asked for what? 20 million? Is that what it is, or
Mhm.
something crazy like that?
Some kind of million, yeah.
Right. And like we don't, yeah, in a civilization like this, like it's not, doesn't seem very important anymore. So yeah, I'm with you, Todd, for
And-
sure on that. He should be asking for supplies,
Control or something.
Right.
Like you and your guys get out of here. Dennis Hopper, I like him. He plays like, I mean, keep in mind this came out in the height, and we won't get into politics, but the height of like President Bush, right? So it's like clearly that's who he's modeled after. I know he modeled himself after Donald Rumsfeld with Secretary of Defense. We don't need to get into that shit either, but like on the nose, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Shut the fuck up. in this like timeline, this has been going on for years. They don't even terrorism wasn't even a thing now. You know what I mean? 2001 never happened in this universe, so there's no terrorism at all. So I thought that was pretty funny, pretty stupid. I love when he kills his friend. That's like, what's in the bag? He's trying to steal money. He's like, what's in the bag? He's like, oh, get down. He shoots him in the back of the head, and then fucking Riley calls him, hey, I got dead reckoning. He's like, oh man, I just did something that I regret or something like that. I thought it was pretty fun.
See, I didn't like him in this movie. I liked Dennis Hopper a lot, but it felt a little phoned in. Just the performance didn't feel like I didn't feel his power. You know, he's just an asshole, really. Like I don't understand. Like his security is like super weak, and his motivations are like kind of like all over the place. The money thing made no fucking sense. His escape plan is super weak. You know, he picks his nose out for no reason, which is probably one of the funniest moments in the
Zombies
movie.
creep him out. What is his escape plan? Have his driver drive?
Basically, right?
To
Like
where?
in his limo, but through the city. So where the fuck are you going? Like, is there he doesn't have like an underground tunnel that he has, or like some kind of fucking helicopter or something way better than
Should have been a helicopter on the fucking roof for a callback
yeah,
to Dawn.
absolutely. It should have been, but anyway,
Yeah.
it's a really weak thing.
Escape
And
plan.
yeah, I have to talk about, since we're talking about issues. One of my issues is how are there still stores with so much food and alcohol this late in the game? Like it makes no fucking sense. First, it's somewhat in the proximity of this town, so they would have raided it. But outside of that, it's not like the world just fucking ended like a bomb. You know, like people were probably raiding those stores way before this movie happened. So it made no sense that there's these full liquor stores full of booze, and you see like the cart of food. It's like Pringles and cans and everything. Like, damn, crazy.
Yeah. What about let's
Good
talk
point.
about if we're talking about like weird supply issues, let's talk about Dead Reckoning itself. Like that is a gas guzzler. I'm sure we can do something better. Like what is the point? You can mount weapons on any kind of fucking truck. Like, do we really need a semi truck that's guzzling gas left and right? They're not using it to haul supplies. They're using
Right.
it strictly for offense. So it's like
And they also
wasting money.
say, and don't they also say like it cost them $5 million? It cost them like $5 million to
Yeah,
make
like
it or something like that. Like, but there was no money. Wouldn't they have just looted everything
just
anyway?
pull it out of your ass. Like
I guess like he paid these people to build it for him, but like you said, money doesn't matter anymore. Like in this society, so like yeah, like. I think George wasn't thinking some of this through or something when making this one, but yeah, that didn't make much sense to me either. Yeah, I mean, you're wasting so much fucking, like you said, gas is a premium at this point.
yeah.
If there's barely, I can't even imagine there's probably too much left at this point either, because gas goes bad after a while.
There's plenty of whiskey left
Um,
though. And cigars.
And
Yes.
bullets apparently, because
Bullets.
they
Full,
shoot
oh my
like
god, full auto.
fucking
Please
yeah.
stop.
Uh,
You would think they would get used to shooting the head instead of spraying and praying. Like, oh my gosh, it drives
Yeah.
me crazy. And then one more
Yeah.
gripe. Asia Argento, when she fucking shoots the wall next to Riley, the door, when he's on like the drawbridge, he could have killed him right there, dude.
Absolutely. Like
She sprays a machine gun at him. It's fucking.
Crazy.
I hate it. Just to set up a joke where he's like, he has a zombie. He's like, okay, shoot now. Like that was really
Right.
stupid fucking thing.
Yeah, I've been pretty negative, but I will say positively. I think the zombies looked awesome in this movie. Like there were some great designs. But what was the need for the few CG moments that we get here? Like it was like mainly all practical, but man, when they decided to use a few CG and it looked terrible. It didn't look good at all. I thought it was cool the idea of the like headless zombie and his head, like the head comes forward and bites. That was awesome, but man, they did it CG and it looked like shit. Like it looked like fucking like 1990 CD-ROM like CG shit. It looked so bad. And it just wasn't necessary because like 95% of this movie is practical, but for some reason I guess CG was kind of coming up then. So they're like, hey, let's throw a couple of CG moments in here, but it looked bad, man.
Yeah, some of that practical shit was awesome though.
Yes.
Like the zombie where
absolutely.
like he like rips from the top of the mouth like over the head, like taking off the skin and pulling out like fucking the the cord in the back as they're ripping the heads off. There was a lot of great like effects in this movie, and I love the zombies as well. I really, really, especially like the zombies that are like, I guess, more decayed than the others. There's one at the beginning which is really great, and the one who eventually bites Cholo is also really great. Yeah, I fucking dug the zombies in this one. It's probably, I would say, his best zombies. Like as like regular zombies, like I like the specific zombies more in like Day, but as just regular zombies walking around, I think they're cool.
100% agree. I think these are probably his best zombies put to. I think Day still is probably my favorite, but I think as far as like realistic looking, these are probably his best zombies put to screen. I haven't seen Diary and Day. I'm sorry,
Ugh,
Diary and
yeah.
Survival yet, but how do they look in those? Not very
They're
good.
not good. No.
All right. What did you guys think of Savini Zombie making a appearance here?
I want to
thought
talk
that was
about
a
all
cool
the
little
cameos.
callback.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of cameos. So Savini Zombie actually is the zombie from Dawn of the Dead, which is
Mhm.
really cool, right? Like he's confirmed this in interviews and stuff, which obviously, I mean, the way he's dressed and everything. So that's cool. It's like a little, like Dawn happens in the same world as Line of the Dead. Now, a question I have, now we also know Shaun, of Shaun of the Dead also appears with Edgar Wright in the bar scene. But one thing that I read that I'm not entirely certain, and I even rewatched it before we recorded to see, a lot of people say that the person who attacks Cholo in the store is Bub. Same collar, same shirt, but different actor who played him. What do you guys think? Is that Bub, or is that just a Bub lookalike?
I read that too, and I'm not buying
Mhm.
it. No, if we're gonna bring back a character, we're gonna give him a better scene than that. I mean, why would you have
Right.
Tom Savini be really badass and then Bub is like a blink you missed it?
Agree. I think it's probably a nod to Bub, but I don't think it's actually Bub. You know what I mean? Because I think if you were gonna bring Bub back, you would do it like they did Savini, where you'd get a full on shot of the zombies. So it could be though. You never know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another Easter egg I caught this time, which I think is an Easter egg, but maybe it's not. You see puppets, like someone was doing a puppet show, and the puppets are actually voiced by Romero himself. Is that a nod to Mr. Rogers, you think? I would think so. Because that's Romero's first job, right? Working on Mr. Rogers. So I
Oh,
thought
that's
that
cool.
would be a
Didn't know that.
cool nod to Romero. Yeah, believe it. Of all things, the stardust fucker on he worked on the Mr. Rogers show. So
That's pretty cool. I wouldn't see why not. I guess, right? Yeah. I mean, Mr. Rogers was a big puppet thing, a lot of puppets involved and stuff. So sure,
mhm.
I could definitely see that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of Romeroisms in this too. His daughter
Right.
is in the film, and
Yeah.
it definitely had a, it's Pittsburgh, obviously, even though it wasn't. Well, it's kind of
Yeah,
like
Toronto.
Well, that's funny because he's from Pittsburgh, obviously, and he sets all his movies in Pittsburgh. But the later part of his life, he lived in Toronto, and he's buried in Toronto. So it's like a mixture of both of his, like, I guess, city passions, right?
Right. I'll go over what I liked. I've been shitting on it, and I actually really like this movie, but I love the variety. I love the variety of zombies, man. Like the butcher zombie's badass, the boyfriend girlfriend zombie, the musicians. Funny, the butcher zombies in Dawn of the Dead remake too, which is cool. And I just think there's like a really cool ensemble of them. Even though Big Daddy's a fucking douche, but I still think it's badass when they walk up to the fucking mall and all the people are running away, and he has the jackhammer, whatever, and he starts smashing down the window, and they all have their weapons and start smashing through, and then they come in. That's such a fucking, I love that rampage. That's like classic Romero right there. The zombies just closing in. You have a girl, the belly button piercing getting ripped out. That's a really cool scene. You have the classic disembowelments right there. Yeah, I love that whole sequence, and I like the feel of the movie too. It's very polished. All the background stuff really works. I like the setup for it. I think it's a really cool idea that I wish just had a little bit tighter, like reining in, and more of like the underworld shit, man. That would have been cool. Like we have the little person who plays like the pimp slash
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua club.
Phil Fondacaro from Troll.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
like the club
Mhm.
owner, and he gets fucking smoked. But I like when he goes to the bar. He's like, "Give me a drink, and give me my gun," and he like instantly starts just trying to like shoot Charlie and Riley because he wanted to stop the zombie fucking game. I don't know, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
What did you guys think of the ending? I mean, what'd you think of the whole let's
I
not
hate it.
kill this? They're just looking for a place to go.
I hate it,
Yeah.
especially if you take your criticisms for it for Riley, saying like, I have to save Asia, I have to save the crew that's stuck between the fence, right? And then for him to not kill zombies who just literally murdered all your friends or the people that you care about. Because remember, he's like he's part of the group that wants to change Fiddler's Green until he stops and he just wants to leave. So like they literally just killed all these good people, and you're like, like these guys might circle around and kill your ass, dude. Like we don't know. So yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I didn't hate it. Like I wouldn't say like I was like mad about it or anything like that. But it's not the best ending. That's for damn sure. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I like the kind of attack. The explosions were hilarious because you could see the bodies flying like way further than they actually would in real life. It's yeah, it was fun to me. Not, I was like indifferent to it, I guess, more than anything.
I love the concept of flowers in the graveyard. That's super fucking cool. Like shooting
Mhm.
up fireworks to distract the zombies. And it's a really effective scene where like, oh shit, Dead Reckoning's here. They fire him up there and they get distracted for like a second and then they slowly look back at the humans. That's like, that was a super cool scene.
That was cool. Yeah, that was very cool. Yeah, the idea of fireworks tracking zombies makes sense, and then them finally starting to be like that. I think that is one part of the evolution that I thought was really cool, where they're finally like they're like, oh shit, like we don't like need to look at these like anymore. We can fucking just focus on the task at hand. So I thought that was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah. Where do you think these guys end up? These groups, Riley's and the zombies.
It's a good question. I wish we got. I actually would have been intrigued to see like what happens to these people, where they go, and where they go from here. As far as where the zombies go, they're just looking for a place, man. Who knows? You know, they probably end up fucking killing a ton more people along the way. So thanks to Riley for that. Who knows? I'm gonna say they end up walking on. The zombies end up walking onto the set of The Walking Dead. And they join that horde of zombies. As far as where Riley and that ragtag group of people go, who knows, man?
Oh, of course we know. They say it in the movie.
build a new civilization.
Canada, eh?
They all go to Canada.
Yeah,
Every
right.
fucking survival film goes. The end goal is to go to Canada.
Here's my problem with
But
that.
why?
Winters are fucking hard. Imagine
Yeah.
being outside.
right.
Well,
Like
that's why, right?
post-apocalypse?
Because the zombies probably don't survive in this climate very long.
Neither will
So-
the humans.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, there's no heat anymore. I mean, I guess I guess you try to find a high rise and create a new sort of, civilization,
Green
like,
fiddlers.
yeah,
Yeah.
Green Fiddler, but like for everyday people.
Hey,
I mean, I
here's a Todd gripe. Remember when Cholo gets he gets shot?
Thank
And then he
you.
gets
I was just
bit.
going to mention that too.
What? Go for it.
No, I'll wait for you. I'll tell you after.
No,
if
no,
it's
my,
not.
my gripe is probably stupid, ridiculous. But when he gets to Fiddler's Green and he's walking through the tunnel, why does he walk underneath the fucking
No, yeah.
cars? Just walk on the fucking sidewalk, you freak. Now you gotta like duck every 3 seconds so you don't hit your stupid ass head. But go ahead, Steve. What's your gripe?
Mine was so at the end when he's about to go after Hopper, he gets shot and then goes down as if he was killed, but he wasn't shot in the head, and then he eventually comes back up. Was he trying to like confuse him? Why did he go down like as if he was dead? It was the weirdest thing.
Wasn't he a zombie at that point?
He was a zombie, which makes it make no sense because
It
if he's
hurt.
a zombie, he should just like keep walking, right? He takes those shots pretty well, but then he goes like he slides against the pole, so the other guy thinks he's safe. So that's when he starts like going around, but he comes back. It was weird. It makes no sense. That's my Todd's gripe for this
Yeah,
episode.
no, that's a perfectly valid point.
Yeah.
I like the chauffeur that just says fuck it and runs off.
Yeah,
I hope he
right.
lives a nice long life.
Right.
Me too. I have a question for you guys. So this movie establishes that zombies remember like essentially the jobs that they've had and keep doing that job. So you have, of course, Big Daddy is at a gas station. He's gassing up. You have the people who played in the band who are playing the gonk from Dawn of the Dead. So they essentially keep doing what they knew in their life, right? What's a porn star zombie like? I'd love to see that. Like, what are they doing?
Hey.
Sucking wieners, dude.
Oh, man. I mean, the Dawn of the Dead remake established that you can make zombie babies, so
Yeah.
apparently it can happen.
Yeah.
So maybe
You know
maybe
what's
two
interesting?
zombies can make babies too.
There would be a ton of zombies though if this happened right now that are just in their rooms sitting on the couch pretending to play
Playing
Xbox.
video games, right?
Yeah.
They do like video games. And Shaun of the Dead,
They do,
Sean
they
played
do.
with his buddy there. All
Yeah.
right, is that
And,
all we got?
Well, one thing, because I did ask our Discord if
No.
there's anything specific they want us to talk about during this review, and there is one thing that Horror Babe 13 asked us, and I'm like combining her questions into one. Basically, what's the future of the Romero zombie like scene? Are there going to be sequels? Are they going to start remaking them again? I kind of know the answer to that, but I want to get your guys' thoughts.
Well, there's an author that's taking scripts that George wrote that didn't finish that he's publishing. So he did one called The Living Dead. I think they came out about 3-4 years ago, and he has another one in the pipeline. They've been trying to make, I forget what it was called, another Romero unfinished script into a film, but I don't know where that's at. I think the Christine Romero has the rights, if I remember correctly. So I don't know. I'm torn. Like, do I want to see unfinished George script? Yes, but then I also watch Diary and Survival, and they're just not good films. So if they're more like that, then I'm bummed. And I would just rather we have the trilogy plus land and be done with it.
Yeah, we've seen the Dawn remake was really good, but then the Day remake was really fucking terrible. So I don't know. I say just let let George's legacy sort of die with him, right? Like, sure, maybe like grabbing some scripts that he did and sort of finishing them, that might be a little interesting. But as far as like remaking them and stuff like that with other directors and filmmakers, it's not something I'm particularly really interested in seeing.
Yeah, I mean, they remade Night, and I thought it was great. I thought it was actually better than the original.
Yeah.
Dawn, I wouldn't say it's better, but was definitely awesome. You're right, Day was not good. Where I was hoping they'd go with it is basically like, you guys just leave it be, do your own thing. Maybe inspired by Romero, but not a continuation of Romero. But of course, that's not how the world works. You guys know that. In fact, 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, a sequel to Night of the Living Dead was just released, called Festival of the Living Dead, which is about Dwayne Jones's grandkids who are going through the zombie apocalypse.
Trash.
Now, it's unfortunately not available in Canada right now. It is on Tubi in the US if you are interested. I'm very curious about it. I will watch it, but
add it to the fucking list. Damn it.
yeah, I have
What's
a
it,
feeling
Festival
of the Living Dead, and it's
Alright.
so 2024 film, at least for
Gosh,
your
damn
list.
it.
Yeah, so yeah,
Isn't that the Soska
it is.
sisters did it?
Soska Sisters did it. That's right.
Okay. Well,
So there you go.
there it is. Hour 28 minutes.
Well, at least it's made by like legitimate horror fans, I suppose, because they are
Mhm.
like actually pretty big horror fans and
Right.
stuff. I don't love most of their stuff.
Yeah.
But what's it called?
Festival of the Living Dead.
It's on
Festival
TV. I just added it.
of the Living Dead.
I'll probably have to watch it in Pittsburgh actually, because I can't watch it here.
We should
so-
all watch it together. That'd be fun.
Yeah, there you go. We'll do that.
Currently clocked in 2.8 over on
Oof,
Letterboxd.
perfect.
Currently, that's not bad actually. That's not terrible anyway in comparison to other shit. But yeah, Jen and Sylvia Soska. I've not even heard of this movie, so very interesting.
And speaking actually of watching movies together, the next movie club is going to be the last Friday of this month, returning because I wasn't there last month. And this month, we are going to be watching Deep Dark, which is the movie that Todd talked about last week, which I thought sounded very interesting. I haven't seen it, and I think it would be a fun one to watch with a group. So if you want to do that, just join our Discord, and we will watch it together, and I'll talk about it on the following week. So
Nice.
Excellent.
all right.
Excellent. All right, gentlemen. Let's get into rating Land of the Dead then. I'll start us off. Like I said, I think it's a fine zombie movie, right? Like I think it's a solid like popcorn flick, but when I'm comparing it to George Romero's like other works, that's when this loses a lot of the luster for me, unfortunately. I think, this is the weakest of the I'm not throwing Diary and Survival in there. So out of the four, this is the fourth movie that came. I think this is the weakest of the four. And to me, it comes down to the characters. Like I said, I think he just built his characters so well in those other three movies, and they're just not built as well in this one, along with some of the zombie choices I didn't like. But Would I watch it again? Yeah, because I think it is. There's a lot of entertainment to be had here. There's good action sequences. The zombies look great, and there's great zombie kill scenes. So yeah, as it is, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Steve, you go last since this was your choice. Yeah, I shit on it the entire episode, but I actually really like it, man. I give it a solid 4 out of 5. I like the characters. I like Riley. I like Charlie. I think Dennis Hopper's cool. John Leguizamo is always a fucking goof, so he's whatever. He's enjoyable. But the zombies and the variety are awesome. I absolutely love that opening scene. I wish the whole movie had that tone. But yeah, 4 out of 5. Even with all my gripes and all my shit talking, I still really like it.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. 4 out of 5. I mean, I'm a Romero apologist, so I will always defend his work. And I had a lot of fun watching it. Like, I had such a blast. It went by super quickly. I was never bored. They constantly moved. There's new zombies. There's new kills. Yeah, I don't think the characters are great, especially compared to his other work. The kind of the other ones had more of like a social message and like were deeper filmed, but this one is like the popcorn flick of Romero films, and that's fine because sometimes I just want to be entertained. I don't want to go into these kind of deep scenes and situations. So 4 out of 5. I had a lot of fun with this one.
Alrighty. And currently over on Letterboxd, they're leaning more a little towards, I guess, my rating. They're currently sitting at a 2.9 over on Letterboxd for Land of the Dead. Alrighty. That is going to be it for this week's episode, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, what do we got, Steve?
We are going into 2024 for maybe second time this year, maybe third time, as we watch the new Shudder release, Late Night with the Devil, which is releasing on Shudder, I think the day this episode releases. So,
Oh, cool.
Excellent. Highly anticipated, of course, horror movie of 2024. A lot of buzz around it. I've already seen it. I had the pleasure of seeing it in theaters, so I'm very excited to talk about that, and I'm definitely going to rewatch it for next week's review. So once again, check out Late Night with the Devil for next week's review. It's over on Shudder. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. Or you can also email us anytime, thehorrorsquadpodcast@gmail.com. But the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast, you already know it, join our Discord, completely free to join. It is linked over on our Instagram, or send us a DM or an email, and we will get you a link to join that Discord. Amazing stuff over there. Once again, Movie Club coming up next Friday. The only way to get into Movie Club is the Discord, so please join the Discord. If you haven't already, please leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That helps the podcast greatly. Or if you'd like to support us, wear some merch. tpublic.com. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. That's also linked over on our Instagram. And you can buy some merch, a bunch of designs over there. T-shirts, hoodies, sweaters, pillows, a little bit of everything. Coffee mugs. So yeah, go and support the pod that way. And am I forgetting anything? Oh, events. Don't forget, June 7th through the 9th, Monroeville, Pennsylvania, home of Dawn of the Dead, taking place in the Dawn of the Dead Mall. Official Horror Squad podcast meetup. We'll all be there. It's going to be a great time. You already heard the spiel. And October 11th through the 13th in Salem, Massachusetts with the cast of Hocus Pocus. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we'll see you next week for Late Night with the Devil. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.